Women are about to do it. Kamala Harris is going to be the next president, and her ascent is a tribute not only to her hard work over the last 4 years, but the last few months since Biden stepped down. She's literally kicked ass.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
But Kamala Harris's upcoming victory is also a combination of the disgust women have for Trump.
I have been pro-life.
And how much Trump's male supporters have shown their true misogynistic colors.
Now, I don't see why any man would vote Democrat. And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what the science says.
Science says that.
And now, on the final day before the end of Donald Trump, there's this.
Hey, is this heaven? No. It's Iowa.
We'll get right to that. Kamala Harris is going to win, and as the minutes tick by, it's not if, but by how much. The latest YouGov Times poll shows Harris up in the 7 key battleground states, the ones expected to decide the election, and she's also putting up a fight in the Sun Belt. While Trump has a 1-point lead in Arizona, North Carolina, and Georgia, Harris is ahead in Wisconsin by 4 points, 3 in Michigan, and 3 in Pennsylvania. She also is ahead in Nevada. If all of the other states vote the way they did in 2020 between Biden and Trump, Harris would win the Electoral College by a narrow margin of 276 to 262. But that's not what's happening here. Harris is going to win North Carolina and Georgia. And then there's Iowa. A poll from Iowa's most respected pollster has Harris up 47% to Trump's 44%. This is blowing people's minds. Why this one poll? Well, this is important. Watch and listen.
So Mika calls me, what was it, Saturday night?
Yeah.
I hadn't been on anything. I didn't know
I wasn't
going to
bring it up.
I mean, I'm going to bring it up. And so she just quietly goes, have you seen about the...
About an hour
Iowa poll? Oh, yeah. What Iowa poll? Because I'm looking at South Carolina, and they're looking pretty good.
Seltzer?
Against Texas A&M. And she goes, Ann Seltzer has Trump up by, has Harris up by 3 points in Iowa. And I'm like, what? And then I'm on the phone the rest of the night. But John Heilman, we were talking that night, and you told me the most remarkable story about, first of all, Ann gets it right every time. Just about every time. But you told me the most remarkable story about where you were 4 years ago to the night that this poll dropped. And I want you to explain that so people get an understanding about Ann, and then Willie will take us to Ann.
Well, I'll just very quickly to your point, North Carolina is there 4 times in the last 3 days. They're worried about North Carolina, and that's obvious. Yes. The other thing is the way he knows he's in trouble. Empty. The rooms are really empty now. Like, he's playing to half-filled halls now, and halls that he filled 2 weeks ago in the same place.
Right.
To Ann Seltzer, 4 years ago, people forget how competitive Iowa was 4 years ago. When we were making the finale of that season finale of the circus, I went to Iowa, to Des Moines on a Halloween night, which was the Saturday night before the election. Traditionally, Ann Seltzer's last poll, the Iowa poll with the Des Moines Register and Mediacom, comes out that night. And people look at that poll. She had gotten Trump right, winning the state by the right number in 2016. She had gotten Obama in 12. She had gotten Obama in 8. She hadn't missed a race at all, except for the race in 04, where she missed Kerry by like a point. Had Kerry winning by a point, and Bush ended up winning that state, winning Iowa really narrowly with a last-minute push. But she's very accurate. She's been very accurate famously in the primaries and caucuses for years and years and years. So in that race last time, her previous poll in 2020, in September, had Trump and Biden tied at 47-47.
So tied in Iowa. This is the same time other polls were showing Biden up by 10 in Wisconsin, 9 in Michigan. It was going to be a blowout.
And you was looking for a landslide. And I went there thinking, we were probably going to see, we'll see what's happening here. If Biden's has put some distance between himself and Trump, that'll augur a landslide across the blue wall states.
Right.
And instead, Ann's poll came out and had Trump up by 7. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting in a room with Matt Paul, probably the best Democratic strategist in Iowa, and Dave Kochel, probably the best Republican strategist in Iowa. And all 3 of us had the same feeling at that moment. I think we all said on camera, we're like, that's the first time we all thought Trump could win the race. And there was no question at that moment that Ohio was not going to, Biden was never going to win Ohio, and Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania were all going to be way closer than anyone thought.
Because of this one
poll. And you could see that the poll, and then it turned out, of course, on Election Day, just to drive the point home, Trump ended up winning Iowa by 8.
John Heinlein's point is simple. This poll has been right for 3 decades, and it shows what everyone else knows. Harris is on the way up, and Trump isn't. Well, what's happening now in Iowa, according to pollster Ann Selzer, who is without a doubt, as you just heard, the best at her game, is that age and gender are the 2 most dynamic factors behind these numbers. Older women in particular are overwhelmingly favoring Harris by a 2-to-1 margin. That's huge. And there have been suggestions that Harris is benefiting from people who've only recently made up their minds. For example, a New York Times Siena College poll suggested that Harris had an 11-point lead among those late deciders. And late shifts can upend poll-based predictions like they did in 2016. By the time polling becomes public, it's old, like the shift to Trump as Election Day arrived in 2016, particularly among these independents. That wasn't captured in surveys. What's important here is to the extent which women are driving the results in Seltzer's poll and what that means nationally. So I think there are 3 factors here: choice, misogyny, and insanity.
There's no need to feel down, I said, young man.
Republicans opened up the abortion debate, and Trump took a massive dump when he claimed ownership of it.
But if you look at what we've done with Roe v. Wade, we did something that everyone said couldn't be done, and we got it done, and there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
We got an inkling when Kansas' Supreme Court struck down the state laws regulating abortion providers more strictly than other healthcare professionals, and they eliminated a ban on common second trimester procedures. They basically told the far right to pound sand. Kansas did that. That was a chilling reminder for Republicans that 70% of Americans are pro-choice. And the overwhelming numbers of women registering to vote, as well as early voting by women of all ages, is a sign that Dobbs' decision may be Trump's undoing. But that was just the beginning.
If I found out Emma was going into the voting booth and pulling the lever for Harris, that's the same thing as having an affair. That, to me...
Oh, my God. Let him finish. Go, Jesse. It's our day.
That violates
Judge.
the sanctity of our marriage.
Preach on, yes.
What else is she keeping from me?
Exactly.
What else has she been lying about?
Why would she lie to you? Have you threatened her? Why would she lie to you?
And so for them to tell people to lie is just one further example of the depth of their corruption.
You know, this might actually be the story that breaks the Republicans' back. Fox News is saying the Democrats are telling women to lie to their husbands, but that's not true. What they told women is, you don't belong to him, and your vote, your future, isn't for him to decide. And before I show this to you, Trump has supported a 3.5-month abortion ban, as well as Johnny Donuts here.
First of all, I never supported a national ban.
I certainly would like abortion to be legal nationally.
But Republicans are reeling because they know that women, yes, even the women they own, well, they're saying, guys, go f*** yourselves.
Her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
And then there's Trump's insanity over the last week. He's losing whatever's left of his mind.
To get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much, because bad things are happening.
Trump's rapid cognitive decline, however, might be the common denominator for Harris's ascent. Add that to his internal polling that's telling him what I'm telling you, Harris is going to win, and win big. And none of the MAGA it was rigged bullshit will fly. America's tired and ready to move on, which is also a message to anyone who wants to blow up the whole thing because it's not perfect. Guess what? No one is perfect, and men, especially in congregations, are living proof. But in this election, women, you know, the ones who give us life, are now damn determined to protect it. Harris wins, and everybody wins. And she will win.
Damn right.
It's not fair.
I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not.
Suck my fat one.
This is not a normal election.
Who's with me? Yes! Tick-tock, mother...
They're eating the dogs.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Frack, frack, frack. Trust me.
Shut the f*** up, Darren.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes! Tick-tock,
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.